Hello, everybody. I'm a little bit late here. I'm going to just attach my microphone. Yes, I'm very, very late to this. Apologies for that. But right, so today I have been out at Arsenal versus West Ham, would you believe? And Arsenal won. Arsenal lost 1-0. Which was quite a surprising game to witness in person. I was not really expecting that Arsenal would lose that one, but then at the same time, it looked like two teams where one had all of their best players available in West Ham, and one didn't, had lots of injuries. So then after that, I went to watch Aston Villa Chelsea at the pub, and what do you know? Aston Villa 2, Chelsea 1. Now, I'm just doing this at basically 9:30 on a Saturday night. So I have no idea how many people are going to tune in. I have no idea how many people are going to watch. Maybe people will watch and catch up. So basically, hello to anybody who watches. Hi, mom and dad, basically. I don't even think even my mom and dad will watch. But if anybody is watching, hello. So Aston Villa all season long have been drawing games at home that we should be winning. We have drawn with the likes of, Brighton 2-2, drawn with Bournemouth 1-1, drawn with, who else? Crystal Palace 2-2. Lots and lots of games where Ipswich 1-1, another one. Lots of games where Aston Villa really should have come away with 3 points and have not been getting the job done. So, fortunately, that, was changed today because that felt like the type of game where we've been drawing all season, but now finally we get the win. Huge. I'm going to make this very quick tonight. I'm not going to do it for too long because I know we all want to see match today and it's a Saturday night, but I thought I'd just do this quickly. And if anybody watches later down the line, please do comment, please do subscribe and all that kind of stuff. But basically, it was a game in which I thought it looked like it could have been 4-4. Both teams are very open. Both teams look very vulnerable. Defensively, both teams look like they could score quite a lot. But in the end, with the way the game started, it just felt a bit like Chelsea looked like the team who were fresher. Chelsea looked like the team who'd had a bit of had a week off. Aston Villa looked like a team who had played quite a lot of football this season, looked a bit knackered, weren't quite at the races, and Chelsea got that early goal, and Pedro Neto running at Ian Maatsen was very, very concerning in the sense I would say that Maatsen has looked vulnerable to that. Maatsen to me looks like somebody who is a winger. He looks like somebody who worked better in a 3-5-2 formation, maybe as a sort of wing back, flying up and down, tracking here, doing something in the final third, because it just looks at the moment like when he's playing in that 4-4-2, when he's at the back and you've got somebody like a Salah, you've got somebody like a Martinelli at Arsenal, you've got someone like Pedro Neto today. He looks quite vulnerable and he can be got at, and the opposition player can whip a ball in and it can lead to a problem in the area. And that's what happened today early on. Just gets the ball in and it's a goal. And Aston Villa, once again, conceded with our first shot on target of the game. Now, it did look for a little period of time there that Chelsea could get away from us. But this is the Villa we've come to know and love under Unai Emery. We simply do not die. We just don't. You always feel with this Villa, we'll give a game to anybody, particularly at home. I still think at home, away from home at the moment, there's some question marks over how good we are. And, Crystal Palace Tuesday night, again, another acid test. We'll see how we come through that. But for now, at home, we still, we look like a team who should be winning pretty much most games we play at home, I think, genuinely. But the problem is we're just so open. So that openness enables us to be very attacking, enables us to look like we should score 4 or 5 a game. But it also means that quite a lot in games we don't seem to have a great deal of control. But anyway, for the rest of that half, I think Villa did grow into the game. But it felt like Chelsea carried the bigger threat, I think, in the first half. So half-time, substitutions are made. On comes Marcus Rashford. And you have to say, in all the games Rashford's played so far for Villa, you can see that this man is a player of real quality. And there must be Manchester United fans looking at this constantly thinking, where the hell has this been for 2 years. Every game he's played, there's been moments where he's just beaten his man. He's got into the area. He's tried to make things happen. He's tried to cut inside and take a shot. And today, the timing of his run from the cross from Cash, fantastic. The way he maneuvers his feet to get the ball back to Asensio, brilliant. And Asensio's there for the finish. And then, obviously, another chance comes later on. Again, Rashford, lovely ball into Asensio. And Asensio, to be honest, the ball was whipped in so quick to him. It was a really good technical finish from him. I know the keeper should probably do better, but you take your luck, because last week in that exact same position, Asensio missed a lot simpler chance against Ipswich. So, when people say things balance themselves out, that's probably an example of that happening. But yeah, I think what I love is the fact that Asensio and Rashford have come into Villa in January, and they've both looked really, really up for it. It's very easy for them to come into Villa and half-arse it, not be that bothered. But instead, they've come in and they've really, really given a lot. They've really tried, and it's been a pleasure to watch the two of them at Villa so far. And I think there's plenty more for them to give for the rest of the season, and I'm excited to see where it can carry us. I mean, the fact now we've got 2 games in hand. I still think Champions League this season is a big ask. I still think we've dropped a lot of sloppy points at home. But if we can go on a bit of a run, stay there or thereabouts, you never, ever know. Maybe it's on. Maybe it's on. The minimum this season is Europe again. I think we need Europe again. I do. But Champions League would be awesome, particularly if 5th place gets it. To catch up, Chelsea is really good. Chelsea, if we're looking at teams around us who might not get top 4, top 5, Chelsea they're in terrible form. And I think second half today, I was amazed at just how I just didn't really rate them. Didn't think they were at it. And I think, whilst they probably should have got another goal, Cole Palmer should have taken his chance. That 1-on-1 he had with Martinez. Otherwise, there wasn't a lot. I saw from them today that I thought, this is a team that they're a Champions League team. This is a team that should be top 4 or 5. And you can see why they're in poor form. And I'm not convinced that Maresca's going to fix it. I'm not. Otherwise, what you would say as well, I think Marlon and Garcia, when they came on, made a really good contribution. I think it's really positive that Garcia, Marlon, Rashford and Asensio, since coming in January, they've all looked really up for it. They've all contributed in their own ways. They all look like really positive signings. And hopefully are going to be, as a collective, something that fires us up to the top 5 if we can. Marlon particularly is that kind of hustle bustle striker who's able to come on for Watkins. Marlon, in every game he's played so far up front, he's always got himself into positions to get a chance and take a shot, and maybe he should be doing better with some of these chances. And what you would say as well is that he's constantly backing into opposition defenders. So he's always, causing trouble. He's always making things happen. So he's been a really positive addition so far. And again, he can play out on the wing. So, you looked at our attacking options today that all came on and you think, there's not a defence in world football that looks at all these attacking players and thinks this will be an easy day today, because it won't be. But defensively, I think Konsa coming back in was very, very helpful. Thank God he got fit when he did. I think, 1 or 2 moments where he wasn't at his best, but overall a positive contribution, a very positive contribution. And his clearance off the line from Cole Palmer proved absolutely crucial as well. If you look at Mings, I love Tyrone Mings. I want to build give me some paint right now. I'll shake it up like that and I'll draw a mural to the man. I will. I'll write poetry to him. I'll write a play about him. I'll go and conquer a country and name it Mingsopia or something, right? Because what that man has done for Aston Villa since being here, we all love James Chester, don't we? Tyrone Mings is going to get the same treatment. He's going to be an absolutely beloved player for Villa. But when I watch him in the last couple of games, I just think it's such a shame that injury happened to him, because at the moment it feels like every single time his knee gets a knock now, he just looks, he's feeling it. and it looks like he's getting in his head a bit, and it feels like it's leading to his concentration not quite. It's almost like he loses focus a little bit, and then the mistakes are happening. And now against Liverpool and Chelsea, there's been really big mistakes that he's been bailed out of. And again, this is not me saying I think Mings is a bad player, because I've never thought that. I've always rated Mings. I love the man, but you do worry a bit now, like, how sustainable is it for him to keep playing if this is just the way it's going to be every game now, where he gets a knock and the knee just keeps coming back? So look, I love the man, and I really hope he can carry on. And hopefully, who knows? Maybe he plays some more games coming up and he doesn't feel it. It's all great. But Lamar Bogard comes on, and I think we all deserve a great big round of applause for Bogard. The man has been the utility player. He is the definition of an unsung hero, constantly playing in different positions, generally, in most cases, doing a very solid job. Today, again, fair play to him. He came on, tough old day of it. You've got some really excellent attacking players he's got to deal with, and he dealt with them. Fair play to Bogard coming on. But by and large, I think given the fact that Aston Villa have played midweek, given the fact we've played 2 games since Chelsea played their last game, the fact that Aston Villa could keep on going, could fight back from 1-0 down, that is the attitude of a team that belongs at the top level of football. It's what you want to see from your team. And, remarkable, amazing result. The type of game that this season has ended up being a draw. Instead, today it was a win. Fantastic. And full credit basically to everybody, really, for pulling us through it. And now, obviously, we've got another fucking game on Tuesday against Crystal Palace away. Very difficult. But today, that's a massive, massive win. As I say, to go 1-0 down and fight back the way we did with all the injuries we've got. Pau Torres is coming back to full training. I've heard on the grapevine next week that might be the case. Hearing on the old grapevine, hopefully he's back. So that would be amazing. Disasi obviously comes back in for Crystal Palace. Again, a really positive few games for him, and I think hopefully he'd be a good player for us. Quite physical, quite big, and we're going to need physicality to deal with Mateta. If we can handle Mateta, we've got a really good chance against Palace. But as I say, that game volume worries me a bit. But why not? And I think John McGinn as well. Massive credit to him. How many times have I said it? How many times have I said it about John McGinn? Alex Ferguson era Manchester United player. Industrious, far more quality than people give him credit for. A winner, a fantastic character on the pitch, and a fantastic character off the pitch. That is the type of player you need in your squad to encourage a positive atmosphere within the team, off the pitch, and within the team on it. And you look at Villa now, and you look at that team when we score goals, every single player is coming up to celebrate. The other day, when Aston Villa scored, when we equalised against Liverpool, Tielemans' goal, I watched the highlights back, and do you know what I saw? Ollie Watkins grabbed Garcia and started talking to him. Ollie Watkins was clearly encouraging Garcia because it was soon after the mistake Garcia made that led to Salah's goal, right? And that is what you want. You don't want a bunch of people who throw your teammates under the bus. You don't want a bunch of people who don't care and are just like, whatever, leave him to it. He's a new guy. I don't care. He's some young Spanish kid. He can't even speak English. I don't want any of that rubbish. Anyway, but the fact Watkins took him aside and talked to him, and Watkins being a senior pro and a top-level player like that, that again is really positive. You look at Marcus Rashford, a player who's just lost the will to live at Manchester United. Who hasn't up there? You see him at Villa now. Look at that energy. Look at the physical energy you can see from him. Look at Asensio. Asensio, a player who's won absolutely everything in football. Why should he give even the slightest shite about Aston Villa? Why should he care about it, really? I mean, he could retire tomorrow and he'd walk off into the sunset, having the best career, one of the best careers you could ever dream of. Instead, he's come into Aston Villa and he looks the part, and he looks like he really cares. Looks like he's loving life there, like a new lease of life. And Marcus Rashford is the same. The two of them look like they're just bang up for it. And if they can continue with this, if they can continue with this positive contribution on the pitch, the fact they've adapted so quickly to being at Villa in a very positive environment off the pitch, if they can contribute like that, who knows where Villa can go? And I keep saying this. Well, I keep saying it. Sorry. I've said it for the last week. It's been coming into my head quite a bit. That FA Cup is there to be won. We look like a team who win cups. And a few of these big sides ain't in it anymore. It's there. And Champions League, I think we're there to go a lot further. Obviously, it's a lot harder to win that. There's a fair few teams that maybe just have that experience we don't quite have. But this Aston Villa team, we can give a game to anyone. Don't write anything off. And this time last week, I was really down. To be honest, Villa all season, I've been very, very bipolar about it. I've been all over the place. And I'm not just like that game to game. I'm like that within games. So there's 10-minute spells where I just think we look terrible. We look like we're going to concede 4 or 5 goals. And then 10 minutes later, we look like we're going to score 4 or 5. That has to change. We're not going to be a top team if we continue to concede goals every single game. What I would not be surprised happens with Villa next season. This is just something I'll build on in future. I would not be surprised if Villa become a bit more of a cagier team next season, a team that's a little bit more defensive-minded, because at the moment there's no control. And at the moment, we're not able to control games with the players we currently have defensively, playing within the system we've got. Whether we sign new players that can play the way we do and therefore mean that we can control games in a better fashion and still be quite attacking, I don't know. Maybe we can. Maybe it depends on where we finish. I like to think we'll obviously still be an attacking side, but I wouldn't be surprised if we look a little bit more defensive next season, because something's got to give with the defense, because every game we're conceding, aren't we? That's got to change. But look, today was the day where we didn't concede 2. We conceded 1 and we scored 2 and won. Brilliant. All right, let's get to a few of the comments. I've rambled on long enough. Mark AV, good to see you, Mark, again. A win is a win, UTV. You're damn right. You're damn right. And you know what? I'm on it tonight. Get in. Get it. We're on it. So come on, the Villa. Come on, the Villa. Mark Wayne rhymes with Mark Twain. The poet. Is it Mark Twain? Mark Twain. Yeah. Mark Wayne. This could be the beginning we're hoping for. Well, hopefully. I mean, after the Everton win away, which was a great win, and then drawing at Arsenal, having been 2-0 down and drawing 2-2, I thought, right, is this it now? Is this where Villa build that momentum? Go on that run? Then it didn't happen, did it? We're just drawn and lost and drawn and drawn. Finally, we've got to win, and we've got to win a bit against a team that's above us points-wise in the table. Look, Newcastle and Forest both look shaky at the moment. Chelsea look very shaky. Man City, you don't know what you're going to get. Bournemouth losing at home to Wolves today. That's really, really surprising. You know, last week I thought top 5 was off. I think we dropped too many careless points at home. But if other teams keep doing the same thing, if Villa can just get on a winning run at the right time, you never know. How good would it be? Europe, at minimum, is what I want. If we can get Champions League again, I mean, I'll be amazed if we did it. It'd be awesome. Rob Hatton, great second half considering the effort that went in against Liverpool. Thanks again for your comment, Rob. Please like and subscribe. If you're watching, please click that subscribe button. Please click the like. Please comment. All it helps. Yes, a massive, massive effort. That second half. I mean, look, the fact is, since Chelsea played on a Friday night against Brighton, we played Ipswich last week, played Liverpool, top of the league, Wednesday night, massive effort. So to keep on going to the end today, to get that late winner, that's enormous. And that's why we're paying the big bucks for Rashford and Asensio. And I got I sort of think if Villa get Champions League, we've got that 40 million deal in place. 40 million, I think, is the fee, a buy fee, I think, for Rashford. That obviously have to be movement on the wages. We can't afford the wages. But if there was movement on those wages, I wouldn't be surprised if Villa pay the 40 million. I wouldn't be surprised. Whether that's what Rashford wants in time, we'll see. Asensio, there's the option for an extra year. I think that would actually be ideal. If Asensio can carry on the way he's playing, if we were to extend it by a year, depending on if we get Europe, that's, I think, a better investment than buying him. I think if we bought him and put him on a 4 or 5 year contract, that's a bit of a West Ham thing to do. It's a bit of a Purslow Gerrard thing to do at his age and the big wages to be on. A bit risky, but I think an extra year's loan, I'll tell you that. He's looking the part, isn't he? Good looking man. Richie Ryan, good to hear from you again, Richie. A fantastic win. No more than Villa deserved today. Enjoy the weekend, Villas. Absolutely. Fucking hell. I tell you what, I'm enjoying this. Oh, yes. Here's to you. Cheers to everybody. Cheers. Cheers to you, Richie. Perry Stead should have had a pen as well. It was a pen. The VAR, they kept looking at two separate angles that did not show the pull that was on Lamar Bogard, right? So it felt like VAR very quickly went through it, looking at those same angles, and then very quickly it was like, no, carry on. But then, as soon as they'd given it, they showed a reverse angle that showed Cucurella clearly pulling back Lamar Bogard, and literally to the point of like he physically cannot get to the ball because you're holding him back. So that's a penalty. Why is VAR not looked at that angle? And again, it's because sometimes I think they try and rush decisions, and then for those decisions that they could do quickly, like the offside that wasn't offside for Rashford for our first goal, they spend ages dithering on it, and you're like, what are you looking at? It's clearly onside. Get on with it. That's a wider issue about refereeing, really. Richie, yes, awful decision from officials. Yeah, it was. It was a penalty on Lamar Bogard. It was. Dennis Farrell. And another one, Frankie. Yes, another one. Come on. As Luca Dean would say, another one. Got my Kraken black rum to celebrate. Good on you. Good on you. Cheers to you, Dennis Farrell. McGinn is my favourite player. Yeah, Mings is a warrior. The booty, John McGinn, the booty. You know, the man who's got the arse the size of Mars. Size of Mars. He's got moons orbiting in it. And I tell you, the ball orbits it because players cannot get near it. Incredible what an asset that booty is. I love the man. What a player. Love him. Brilliant player, John McGinn. Brilliant. Underrated. 1956 Villain. Good to hear from you again, mate. Good result against the 13 men of Chelsea. I'm guessing that's referring to the officials, including Stockley Park, maybe. Christopher Hammond. A lot of results went our way today. Great to capitalise and start making up points. I hope this can continue. We're up there at the end of the season. Yes, Christopher. Thanks for your comment again. We keep saying it every week. Villa kind of have been blowing it a lot recently. But the thing that keeps on happening is every week it's like results have gone our way this week. And it feels like the number of points we've blown, it feels like there should be 4 or 5 teams that have sort of got away now. We should be probably about 10 points off it, really. Champions League. But Chelsea, Newcastle, Forest, and now Bournemouth, they keep slipping up and sort of leaving openings for us. Now, look, most of them have a game in hand over us, so that might change. But, as I say, if we can get a result against Palace, if we can get a win there, very, very difficult. But if we can just get a 4 or 5 game winning run going, we're right in it then. And maybe that's the kind of momentum then in the sort of last 7-8 games of the season that might just get us to top 4 or 5. Amazingly, the gate is the glimmer of light is still there, and I really thought it wasn't last week. Richard Ryan McGinn was my man of the match today. Warrior from start to finish, competed for every ball, even the ones he couldn't win. Yeah, agreed. I thought he was fantastic. I think he was really good against Liverpool as well. Given the fact we lost Kamara, our best centre midfielder, and arguably our best player, for McGinn to step in the way it has, he's a fantastic player, McGinn. He's a fantastic. We have been so fortunate to have that man at Aston Villa for the last few years. Really fortunate. Club legend that man's going to be. Christopher Hammond, there's only 5 players with more than 2 assists this season. I wasn't sold on Rashford at all. Egg on my face now. Very happy to be wrong. Yeah, I think there's a fair few people who weren't too keen on Rashford. I think obviously there's a lot of chat about off the pitch stuff at United. His form's not been good for 2 years at United. I think for me, the first time I heard about it, I think I was kind of like not sure. But then I really started to think about it, and I did a whole thing on here about how I thought, you know what? Maybe Villa's the breath of fresh air he needs. Manchester United is so toxic. It's a goldfish bowl. It's a bit like Grealish at Villa, Rashford at United. You're the hometown boy. There's more pressure on you. It's just a really negative environment. And it just feels like they've got bad coaching there. It feels like nothing's positive around the club. And so you can see why somebody like Rashford maybe just loses the will to live a bit there, needs a breath of fresh air. Aston Villa are the type of team where there's less pressure. He comes in as a star, play at a team that we're up for. Unai Emery's the brilliant at rehabilitating players, and he comes into a system that I think suits him. I think the way we play suits him, allows him to be the kind of expressive star he probably can be. And, his assists have been massive recently, massive. I think he'll start adding goals soon as well. Perry said they are only help the big six. Yeah, I mean, look, I was at Arsenal today and they had a red card given from VAR. So I think I certainly would be interested to interview a referee and say, look, a retired referee, and say, when you go to bigger clubs, do you find sometimes that the pressures, I don't know, is it difficult to referee in them environments when, I think the top teams, I think where they're better, because look, I don't believe in conspiracies and that really, but I think what there is sometimes with top teams is that they're very good at crowding referees. They're very good at appealing for decisions. They're very good at complaining and knowing when to complain and the dark arts. And I think that sometimes puts the onus on referees sometimes to react to the pressure. Obviously, then the fans play on that as well. I think Villa could learn to do that a bit. I think Rashford a couple of times now already, corners that has not been given to us or what he thought was a penalty against Ipswich. He's running after the referee like this. And Villa players never do that. But he's a Man United player. And he does it. And I think Villa could learn from that. I do. It's not always the best thing to. It's not. You don't love to see it. And if the opposition do it, you think, what a bunch of arseholes. But if my team's doing it and they're getting decisions because of it, well, all the top teams do it. Why shouldn't Villa? Paul S. Dean is way ahead of Maatsen until he starts showing. Yeah. Dean is just a very, whenever Aston Villa play, if Aston Villa play Arsenal, if Aston Villa play Chelsea against Pedro Neto, if Aston Villa play Bayern Munich, PSG, Real Madrid, I pick Luca Dean every single time. Because Luca Dean looks solid, he's defensively solid, and he contributes going forward as well. He can whip in a good ball. Whereas I think Maatsen in a lot of games recently, it looks like quick attackers get at him. And I think him being a defensive fullback, he's vulnerable. You can get at him. I think he looks like a player who might suit a 3-5-2, playing a winger role. And I think that, when Villa play against, like, let's say Leicester or Ipswich, it's in those type of games where I think Maatsen's what you want, because Maatsen is more likely to get into that final third and weave a pass. In fairness, after the goal, I think Maatsen had a really poor first half. I think he looked very uncomfortable and shaky. I think in the second half, he was a lot better. I think he did improve, and he sort of intercepted a few balls. He was good going forward. He was good few passes. He was, I thought he was decent enough. But I think if we've got Rashford playing out on the left, being the more attacking player, I think Luca Dean just sitting off him behind and not necessarily bombing on, and therefore protecting that space, because Rashford's not really going to track back. And I think Dean's just the option. And I think when we play Palace on Tuesday night, I think we'll play Luca Dean. Paul has same intelligence, and I'm not sure what that means. Sorry, I can't follow that. Chris Hunt, UCV, good to hear from you, Chris. Good to hear from you. Christopher Hammond. Perry said the Everton game earlier was a joke. VAR desperate to chalk off Everton's goal and prevent a penalty. VAR was basically made as legal team objection. Yeah. Too often they just seem to spend forever trying to find a way to disallow a goal. There is pressure on them in a way like fans ourselves have caused this problem. The way we, particularly online, that we really give out referees, and it's got to the point where it's almost like intolerable that referees make a mistake. That said, I think that officials this season, at a lot of games I've been at live, I've been taken aback by how poor they are. And I theorize there's maybe some thinking in football about maybe they're trying to let the game flow a bit more this season. But the problem is that what's happened is there's been a lot of decisions that should have been yellow cards. And so I can think of 3 or 4 occasions this season where against Villa, there should have been a second yellow and the opposition team down to 10. And the problem is, if you keep letting these players get away with it, it just means there's more fouls and there's goal scoring opportunities that never come because we're allowing players to just keep fouling us. And so, yeah, and to be honest, I can't think of Villa getting away with the one, whereas I can think of our opponents getting away with 3 or 4, genuinely. And there's been games I've been at this season where I've been stunned at just kind of the clearly quite poor officiating. I don't know what that is. I don't know whether VAR has made them a bit more reliant on it and a little less willing to make decisions. But yeah, I sometimes think there's times when they're trying to let the game flow and they're actually just letting blatant fouls go. Paul McGinniesta, wow, I think we got out. Yeah, top player. 2.5 million player, man of match me. Unbelievable, isn't he? Unbelievable, Paul. 2.5 million quid for him. Stevie Bruce's finest hour. Mel Farrell, great result, back in the race. Yes, Mel, good to hear from you, mate. Yeah. I mean, the drawing with St. Man Ipswich last week, I just thought, we had just blown it. Like, we've just drawn too many games at home that we should have won. But other teams around us, they're not getting the results they need at the moment. So it could be a proper horse race to the end, you know. It could be 5 or 6 horses running. And at the end, one of them just pips us the rest of the finish line. Hopefully it's Villa. Ben 76, we need to be honest about Mings. He's not at the level that we require now, much too airprone. Yeah, the last 2 games he's made big errors. I do think the injury's playing on him, sadly. It just looks like it's in his head. And a couple of the errors, he's kind of gotten away with it. I'm gutted for him because I love Mings. I think it was always an unfair thing that he was error prone. I think he made the odd mistake once every 10 games. But I just think at the moment he looks like he's making mistakes kind of every game at the moment, which is, well, the last 2 games at least, which is tough for him. It's just tough coming back from a year and a half out and not necessarily playing a lot. It's hard. Sorry, AI keeps backing up. Richie Ryan, Maatson could be utilised further at the pitch. Definitely effective as attacking player. Yeah, he looks like a more attacking player. He does. I think defensively, he just looks like a player you can get at. It's not necessarily. Another one of these. Please like and subscribe if you love beer. And if you don't subscribe, apparently you support Birmingham City. I didn't write the rules. Hit like, hit comment. Ref was poor. Yeah. I think he gave a lot of weak fouls. And again, when I was at the Arsenal game earlier, I thought the ref wasn't great. Again, lots of pretty weak fouls. I don't know. Richard Ryan, really like Bogard. I think he make an outstanding play, show real intelligence at times tonight. Made some fantastic tackle. Hats off. Yes. Bogard is clearly a very intelligent young man because he's been asked to play in lots of different roles. And he's been able to do a solid job in pretty much all of them. He's the definition of an unsung hero. And Unai Emery, there's a reason of all the youth players we've got that he's the one who's played the most, stuck around the most. Because as I say, he's fitted into these roles. When he came on against Arsenal away, into that CDM role that Onana was playing on, he played for an hour, and he did a fantastic job in that game. The last few games he's come on in centre midfield, came on as a centre back, I think, in a game recently. He's centre back again today. He's been right back a lot this season. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Fair play to him. Fair play. Wasif Manka. A lot of people call me that as well, but they changed the M and the W around apparently. Instant Frankie. Yeah. I was out. So I've it's the source of instant reaction. What do you call it? The slightly delayed reaction. The slightly delayed reaction doesn't have quite the same ring to it, does it? To instant, but we try. Paul S. Cash fan, shameless I know, but gives it all every game. Support the lad. Absolutely. Cash is not overrated. I think Cash is underrated by some. I think he's generally rated by most. I think Cash is I think most Villa fans would probably agree with this. He's a solid functional fullback. When he gets into the final third, do I think he looks great? Not always. I actually think he's played well the last couple of games getting into the final third. I think Garcia looks a little bit more of a natural as an attacking player. Cash is functional. I think defensively, I think he's a lot more solid than people realise. I think his positioning, I think, is okay. I think he makes enough tackles, and I think he's the type of player. Yeah, I think he's probably quite hard to play against. He's very athletic. Uh, I, I don't think he's. You can see why he's not. You know, necessarily the best going forward. But something he's unleashed recently that I'm not sure I ever remember him doing. I think he's learned he can actually whip a really good ball in on his left foot, on his weaker foot. He did it against Arsenal, and Watkins scored at the back post. He did it against today against Chelsea for the first goal, whipped into the back post, very similar to the Arsenal goal. To Rashford, brilliant touch back to Asensio, great stuff. And again, so maybe Cash, and there's been another couple of occasions he's whipped that ball in on his left recently as well, very well. So maybe he's learned that he's actually got an attribute to his game that he never quite knew he had, which is great to see. Learning as he goes. But yeah, he's a solid fullback. Is he the best in the world? No. Is he underrated at times? I think he's a little bit underrated sometimes. Yeah, I think he's solid enough. Ben 76, Bailey and Marlon looked really sharp when they came on. They did. I think they made a really good contribution. I think Marlon, since he's come in, has looked a really handy player, hasn't he? He's very he's all action. He's fit for quite a short guy. He's very physical. I think he's one of them sort of players you turn up on Sunday League and look at him and think, oh, he's quite short. I can physically outmuscle him. Not that I can outmuscle anybody. I'm the opposite of the muscles from Brussels, right? Jean-Claude Van Damme looks at me and I pass out. KO. Yeah, I think Marlon is a lot more physical than you'd imagine for his size and height, and he really backs into defenders. And bearing in mind, he's not actually a striker; he's a winger. So, again, fair play to him. He's been really positive, and I think his goal's going to come very soon. And if it does, I think a fair few might follow. Very few stars get by him, Paul S. I think that's Cash you're referring to. Yeah, very few stars do get by him. He's again, like I say, he's a solid fullback. I don't think he's not easy to play against. He's very athletic. The Polish Alan Hutton, says Chris Kelly. I like that. The Polish Alan Hutton. That's such a compliment. What a player Hutton was. That run against Birmingham City. All the Birmingham City fans have to live with that for the rest of their lives, knowing that Alan Hutton did that to them at Villa Park in front of the Holt End. Beautiful. Bunch of crybabies. They're probably all them Blues fans there right now, sitting there at home, singing to their kids, wishing them, trying to get them to sleep, singing shit on the Villa. Small time. Paul S. Marlon is a whale of a fish. I like that. Yeah, he's a big old fish, isn't he? Fights hard, big lad. Gary Howlett. Still not smashing teams. Every game is a slog. That's very true. Which is why I sort of said earlier, I think we might see a different Villa next season. We just, it's too open. It's just too open. There's no control. It's always wild. And I get, like, before the Liverpool and Chelsea games, I said exactly the same thing before both of them. I think it'll be one for neutrals. I think it's one you're going to really enjoy watching if you're a fan of if you're a fan of neither club, because it's going to be exciting. There's going to be lots of chances. There's going to be lots of poor defending. And that's exactly how they both panned out. Very easily could have conceded more goals than we did in both games. I think Chelsea should have had more than one, probably. Certainly the chance Cole Palmer had. And I think Liverpool, Darwin Núñez missing that what would have been third goal was unbelievable. So the problem is we're riding our luck too much. And that's not a team that... It's a team that could be a cup team that can win things on moments, but it's not a team over the course of a season that can really... You can rely on them to get a top European place finished, because if they keep conceding, it's going to cost you. So, like I say, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a slightly different Villa next season, maybe a few different profile signings, and maybe we become a little bit more defensive than we are, because something's got to give. We've been conceding too many goals now for a year, and if we keep the same style, we're going to have to figure out how we have a defense that can deal with the sort of opportunities we tend to give up at the moment. We have to have a defence that doesn't give up as many, and maybe that's having players further forward who are better at returning the ball, and therefore we're not exposed in transition as much because we just keep the ball better. But that's very hard to do. Every game you're going to give the ball away. So I don't know. It's a hard one. I don't envy the Villa scouting department and Monchi and Unai Emery trying to work this one out, because it's difficult. But I think fundamentally Villa have to tighten up somehow. We have to become a little bit more pragmatic, because look, I mean, God, we could get Champions League again, but it's slightly, if we do it, it's slightly in spite of ourselves, because we've not been getting the results we should be getting. By the same token, you could argue that more players should be scoring goals. We've missed too many big chances. Watkins is doing his part. More players need to contribute. Asensio scoring today. Hopefully, it's the start of other players than Watkins starting to contribute. But defensively, it just feels like every game we're going to concede, doesn't it? And that has to stop, and it has to stop somehow. Maybe it means become more pragmatic. Alan Messi, what a goal. Yeah. What a goal that was from the Scottish Messi against the Blues. Ben 76, Villa have now the most points from a losing position in the league this season, 18. It's amazing, isn't it? Even when we go behind in a game, I tend to think we're going to do something to come back into it. I tend to not lose heart. Where I lose heart generally is when we're in the lead, because I never think we're going to hold on to it. I think we're just going to do something stupid. But if we go one down, I tend to think, well, away from home, I'm not sure. At home, I tend to think, no, we'll create chances. We'll do something to get back into this. But like I say, that again is it's an example of how, Villa can't continue to concede the goals. We can't continue to give up the chances we give up. We can't. And we can't continue to be a team like that is constantly having to come back from losing positions. That's not a team that wins things. Richard Ryan, nice stat, Ben. Yeah, good stat, Ben. Thank you. Gary Howlett, good to hear from again, Gary. Mings is playing through the pain barrier as well as the mental side of the ACL he had. He should retire and become ambassador of Villa, proper Villa hero. You're absolutely right. Villa hero. Absolutely. If I'd give anything to see Villa win something this season and see him lift that trophy. Anything to see him and Mings, McGinn do that, because they're just such special players in our recent history. And I think that would firmly cement them as legends to me. If they could... FA Cup, I'm telling you. I think the FA Cup's on. I think we can win it. Craig Miles, cheers, Frankie, from the Dutch Lions UTV. Is that the Craig who I met? Is that Craig and Kylie who I met in the Aston Social? That was a fantastic night. I tell you, I want to see you guys again. I loved meeting you. Fantastic. What a night that was. Thank you so much for commenting. Thank you so much for watching. I fucking love meeting Villa, and I love meeting fans from the Villa, making friends out the Villa, and I fucking love drinking this when Villa have won. I tell you that for free. I don't know what the best Dutch beer is, really. I need to go over. I've been to the Netherlands, and the place I went to was a place called Valkenburg on a football trip when I was 11 years old, and it's fantastic. And they kept giving us lemonade shandies. We were 11 years old. All of us thinking we were getting drunk on lemonade shandies. Why were we being allowed to drink that? Amazing. But I've never been to Amsterdam, city I'm desperate to go to. Utrecht as well, I think it might be a nice one. But yeah, love to go there. Craig, top man, top. Craig and Kylie, top. Paul S. Europe is almost out of the question. We need to top four on the cups and build and go again next year. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I mean, look, I think Champions League I still think is a big ask. The only way it's coming is if we go on a 5-6 game winning run, I think. But the teams around us have not taken the chance we've been giving to them. And today was a massive win against a team who's competing for it. If Newcastle, Forest, Bournemouth and Chelsea continue to be, and Man City, continue to be a bit inconsistent, Forest, if the pressure gets to them a bit, remember in the past when Villa would get to this point in the season and we'd be trying to get in the Champions League, and every single time we blew it, and it was always at this time of the season. This time now, we've been there and done it. We know we can do it. Forest still have to get over that. And I think with Forest, they've got a small squad. I think one injury could be a real problem for them. And I think they can do it. If I had to bet on it, I think they actually do it. But I think they were really poor at Fulham when they lost last week. They lost badly at Bournemouth. I know they had an amazing win against Brighton. But Newcastle away tomorrow. I think Newcastle away tomorrow. Ooh, I wouldn't fancy them there, you know. I wouldn't be surprised if they start to drop a few points now. And so, look, as I say, if we get it this season, top 5, because I think 5th will probably be Champions League. If we get it, we've we've ridden a lot to do it. But like I say, it could be a horse race to finish. It could be a photo finish. Gary Howlett, is 5 points enough from 3 home games? Turns out it is. Yeah, it does. Amazing. God, I wish we'd beaten Ipswich though. There's so many games this season I wish we'd won. When we should have won. Brighton at home, we should have won. We should have beaten a Bournemouth at home. Never should have conceded that last second goal. Palace at home again. And all of those games were just out of control. We just didn't have the control factor we had last season. For a calendar year, full year now, we've conceded too many goals. That has to change. Dirty Dogs and Diesel, good to hear from you, mate. Triple D. I love Dirty Dogs and Diesel. Look at the results today. Anything can happen, LOL. Yeah. Wild. And Arsenal, you know, again, like I said, I was in the stadium at Arsenal today. Got a lot of friends who are big Arsenal fans. So I'll go down there a little bit and see them. What I would say today about Arsenal, you know, they've got Forest away on Wednesday. I looked at them today and I was like, all right, defense-wise, they've got obviously a really strong defense. So they're not going to concede many goals. But in attack, all of their players are gone. They've got Odegaard. And I thought, Odegaard, watching him live in recent seasons, he's one of the best players I've ever seen live. I think he's amazing. Today, I thought he was really poor. And the Arsenal fan I was with said the same thing. He said, he's not been very good for the last few months. And I thought, interesting. Saka, their star man, is out. He's been out for a while. He's still going to be out for another few weeks. Ben White's only just coming back at right back. And then in attack, they've got Havertz out for the season. Jesus is out for the season. Trossard was really poor today. Arsenal could slip down as well, you know. A couple of bad results for them. And suddenly, like I say, if Villa get a 4 or 5 game winning run in somehow, if we can do it, suddenly we could look around and be like, how the hell are we this close to City and Arsenal and Forest and all these teams look like they were just going to be miles away from us. And yet somehow we're still here. Like, how have we done this? Like, yeah. And maybe Rashford, Asensio, Marlon, Garcia, maybe they're that shot in the arm that we needed. And maybe they're the X factor. They certainly made the difference today. And Garcia, I'm delighted for him, you know. The way he bounced back from that mistake against Liverpool within the Liverpool game, I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was brilliant for the rest of that game. But today, when he came on, I thought he looked really good again. I thought he did. I think we've got a gem there, you know. Look, in a year's time, that's when you judge him. Maybe he's having a purple patch. But the fact he's coming and adapted as quickly as he has, in a whole new country, a whole new environment, a whole new team, a whole new style of play, that's really impressive. And I think in a year's time, let's see where he's at. I'm excited to see how he develops. Obviously, he had a big mistake against Liverpool, but the fact that he bounced back from it, as Marco Asensio said about him, Marco Asensio said in an interview, what Garcia has is a will to listen and learn and get to the very best. He's in the gym. He does all the work. That's all you can ask for, isn't it? Try your best. Make the best of yourself. And Asensio observes that. And Asensio is a player who, is Real Madrid. He's won the lot. The fact that he can observe that up close, I'm really excited to see what Garcia does. And as I say, he made that mistake against Liverpool. Look at how he's played since then. Mentality. Big. That's what makes winners. Peter Smith, Heineken. Yeah, I think that's in the Nederlanden. Heineken and probably local beers as well. Gary Howlett, 150 years of Villa. FA Cup win would just be perfect, wouldn't it? Absolutely. And given we started it as well, playing in that 150th anniversary kit, which I loved. I hope we made that our away kit in future, the black and white. Looked great. Really cool look that was. I hope we do it again. It'd be special. And, you know, we've not won that trophy in a long time, and that is a big trophy to win. And like I say, you look at the teams that are left in it, I think we can do it. Gary Howlett, love Mings, but best not to play him against Bruges again. Oh, yeah. God, yeah. Yeah, I'm a bit worried about him at the moment. It just looks like every knock on his knee now is a problem, and it's clearly in his head because he's just making one or two uncharacteristic errors that look a little bit like it's from focus. He's not quite able to focus in the way that he normally would. And that's totally understandable. He's been out for a long time, and he's got a knee injury that he's clearly, understandably, very worried about. I'm so gutted for him. I love the man. I really want us to win a trophy for him. Champions League, he's going to lift it. Triple D, it's going to be tough for us just because of the amount of games we're playing, but I'm not writing us off. You're exactly right. The games we've got, again, we've got Champions League coming up. We haven't played well. We haven't played well after the Champions League games, have we? That has to change eventually. But yeah, you have to assume that's going to have an impact again. But we played Bruges. Not exactly sure when those games are. Actually, I've not even looked at the dates for them. But I think, do we play that? Because we've only got one Premier League game in March, right? So we've got Brentford on the 8th. But so that must mean that we might have Bruges and then we'll have like an FA Cup game or something. So hopefully it might not actually impact us as much in the league as we feared. But yeah, it's a big ask. Champions League is a big ask. I think Europe, if we can even Conference League, honestly, I'd take it. I just want us in Europe every year. Gary Howlett, lots of top teams play each other, which helps. So unbelievably, we are still in there. Yeah, absolutely. Newcastle's a nightmare for us. Must be for most. Paul S. Yeah, we don't seem to play well up there. They're flat track bullies. I keep saying it. They're a big physical bully inside, and they didn't like it. Their fans, God Almighty, the absolute hell they gave me when I said they play a bit like a high end Stoke. I ain't taking it back because they do. They sit back. This is why in games when they do it, they look passive, right? Because they go into a 5-4-1 formation or a 4-5-1 formation. And they try and hit you on the break, and it's basically all men behind the ball. It's quite slow. And then on top of that, they constantly foul. They're big physical hard men. They're big strong side. It is a little bit like Stoke. A bunch of crybabies, honestly. Pathetic. What they were going on about when I said that. I was just like, what is this abuse I'm getting? Unbelievable. Get over it. Ben Simmons says, do you think we will get to hang on to both Rashford and Asensio next season? If we get Champions League, yes. I think if we get Champions League, we'll extend Asensio's contract by a year. And I think I would not be surprised if Emery pleads with the board to find a way to get Rashford in. 40 million is the fee. Wages would be difficult. If we get Europa League, I think we'll extend Asensio again by a year, depending on how he performs the rest of the season. Rashford, if we get Europa League, you never know, you never know. He'd have to take a hit on his wages, but maybe he'd be willing to do it. I mean, are Barcelona and PSG going to sign him? PSG won't, not with Barcola. Barcelona, maybe. But have they got the wages? The ability to pay the wages you want? Probably not. So what's his future? Do you know the team that might go for him? Arsenal. Looking at them today, Trossard getting towards 30. They need a striker. Rashford can play as a striker and as a wide left player. I wouldn't be shocked at all if we hear rumblings of Arsenal going for Rashford, particularly if we don't get Champions League. And if 40 million is the fee, and if Rashford's willing to take a wage hit, I could see that being a thing. But, he's coming to Villa. He's enjoying it. Body language-wise, it looks like he is. He's having a good time. He's been allowed to be the player he can be. He's been very open. We're playing in a very attacking system that suits him. I think Villa could be the one for him. But wages, it's all down to wages, isn't it? Gary Howlett, first shot on target syndrome strikes again. Got to stop it. Yeah, it's mad. I don't understand how that keeps happening. It's bizarre. Well, it's all about expectations this time of year. At this point, league-wise, we haven't much. We're aiming top 6 way off. Yeah, top 6 is what we need, I think. I think we can get top 6. 4 or 5 feels a stretch, but we'll see. You never know. Gary Howlett, Cash needed pushing, and who we push now? Yeah, I agree. I think he did need rival for his position. I think the same with Konsa. I think Konsa needed a rival as well, and hopefully Disasi provides that. Because again, I think Konsa he's probably got to a spell where he just thinks I've got no competition, and Cash probably the same thing. And now they both have competition, and hopefully it raises their levels. Because I think I think constantly been shift between right back and centre back. It's not helped in this season. I think him just being a solid centre back, having competitive there as well in Disassi, I think that'll bring the best out of him again. Peter Smith, I'm not sure if Amstel is Dutch. Yeah, not sure. Amstel. I think Amstel, I want to say it is Dutch. Good knowledge. Good on you, Peter Smith. That comes up in a pub quiz. You win. Dirty Dogs, 4th and 10th of March. Right, that's the Brugge. It's Brugge, Brentford, Brugge. Abdul Hanan. Good to hear from you again, Abdul. Right, Triple B. Brugge, Brentford, Brugge. Football never stops, does it? There's so many games. Unbelievable. Bruges to Brentford feels a big ask. That'd be Bruges away and Brentford away. I just don't trust. I haven't seen any evidence this season that we're going to play well in that Brentford game. So, but you never know. The new players we got the win today. Could it be a catalyst? Come on. If this ain't it, it's not going to come, is it? Like, come on. Let's do it, Villa. Palace away on Tuesday. Let's do it. Gary Hallett, Bloody Sense, scores 2 goals, 20 odd trophies, good looking, speaks perfect English, not jealous, LOL. Sounds like me. You're describing me there. Good looking, speaks perfect English. Not, no. God, I wish I was Marco Asensio. I wish I'd woken up born and been like, oh, I'm Marco Asensio. That's great. Or Gerard Piqué wins the lot and marries Shakira. What an idiot. He has the lot and then marries Shakira and then cheats on Shakira. You what? I mean, you won the life lottery, mate. Everything's ever gone your way ever, including marrying Shakira, and you cheated on her. Jabroni behaviour. 4th and 12th, Brentford in the middle, yeah. Jeff Wade, watching in Chicago, brother. Oh, hello. CM Punk is from Chicago, the Blackhawks, the Windy City, the Great Lakes, Chicago, Illinois. What a city. I'd love to go there. Good to hear from you, Jeff. Amazing to think somebody in Chicago is watching this. I know there's a big Villa presence, the Chicago Villains. I've seen them around on social media quite a bit. God, my head annoying me there. Hello. My sister lives in America, so I have great affection for the US, and both of my sisters go out with Americans, one from Minnesota and one from California. So, yeah, and I have lots of family in the US. All of them, all my Irish family went to America, all of them. That's about 50 of them. And then for some reason, my grandparents decided to go to Birmingham, mate. So, yeah, I'm a drummer, and a lot of my relatives are, some of them talk like Stone Cold Steve Austin, and some, like New York City, they sound a little bit like Donald Trump, folks. I tell you, Aston Villa, tremendous team. Right there, tremendous team. Peter Smith, I'm praying we get Champions League again to really push on now. If we don't get that, I'm a bit maybe no Europe and concentrate on the league, less games. Yeah, I know what you mean. But you want Champions League, don't you? We want to play the best. These chances don't come along often, but yeah, I mean, if we didn't have Europe, if we didn't have FA Cup, and we focused on the league solely, yeah, there's probably a better chance we get top 5, 6. That's probably true. Gary Howlett, hope Newcastle win a trophy. Never won anything, have they? Yeah, I mean, look, I have a lot of Newcastle friends. The London Mags, the London-based Newcastle fan base, they're fantastic. Absolutely some of the loveliest people you meet. And I'll be absolutely delighted for them. Do I want to see a team that's run by a nation state win anything? No. I'm slightly worried if they got into the top 4 and were able to solidify themselves, it'd be very hard to shift. Because the thing with nation states that own football clubs, they have the ability of nation states to run things. They can pay for things in ways you can't. And they also are willing. I would say there is a world in which some nation states would be willing to have sponsors who mysteriously come from the same country as those nation states, which also happen to be authoritarian countries run by the same families that happen to own these sports clubs. That's something that could happen in another world. So, yeah, I'd be delighted for a lot of my Newcastle fan friends. I would. And I think they've been a long-suffering fan base. But I worry a little bit with them run by Saudi Arabia, what it would mean if they were to get up there. It's another competitor for us, isn't it? Daniel Salter. Good to hear from you, Daniel. I know you commented before. How much are we still paying Coutinho that can go towards wages? Jesus, yeah. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. And I think I am sure he was a contract to 2027, but I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know the fact. I don't know how long his contract's for, but man, Christian Perslow, he saddled us with a few big contracts. He did. I think he did a lot of good for Villa. I think he made a lot of poor decisions in that last year he was there as well. Paul S, 3 bottles of milk bonus and he'll sign. Like that. Abdul Hanan, Champions League is absolutely possible with the coefficients. We can definitely finish 5th. Yeah, you're right. We can. Gary Howlett probably play like Sterling at Arsenal. Yeah, Sterling's not having a good time. He looks like he's just he's been playing football since he was 16, 17, came through very, very early. And the same thing's happened for a lot of players who come through that age. They fall off quickly. They peak early. And it looks like he maybe has hit that point already. Abdul, we have to play all our rivals so we can take points off all of them and be in commanding position for Champions League. Yes, got Forest at home, Newcastle at home, Tottenham at home, United away. All of them games I think we can win. And if we do, there you go. Bournemouth away as well. That's a tough one, isn't it? Bournemouth away. Bolg the Villain. Good to hear from you, Bolg. Love your comments. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe. I am going to wrap up soon because I do want to watch Match of the Day. It's on very soon. Joining late, sorry, but can you and Dan R and Neil D please liaise and stagger these lives? Probably seems to have been a big club of simultaneous live streams going. Yes. I need to think about that. I think we all just tend to do them at random times, so I'm not really aware of when other people are doing them. But I might work on that. I might try and figure out when other people are doing them. I know like Neil does like Thursday night previews, so I wouldn't do like a Thursday night because I know a lot of people watch the same thing. I wouldn't want to, be on at the same time and that sort of thing. So yeah, I'll try and work something like that out. I think generally for live reviews, I think post game, I think most people do live stream straight after. But yeah, I know what you mean. It'd be good if we could figure out a way to do it at different times for sure. Peter Smith, laughing all the way, love that. Folks, I tell you, was that a Donald Trump? I tell you, no word of a lie. Birmingham City, they're tremendous football. I heard they won something. I tell you, he convinced people that Birmingham City are the best football team in the world, and then you're like, are they? Well, hold on, they're in League One. They've never won. They don't win. What? I tell you, tremendous team. I tell you. Perfectly realistic end season will be 5th Champions League lift FA Cup. I love it. Irish Comedy Channel viewers, please redirect. My as I say, my family from Roscommon. Cavan, my granddad used to talk like that. He had a really slow voice on him, so I talk real slow, like that. And then my grandma from Limerick can talk a bit quicker down there, a bit like the Cork, very quick, very quick accent. So I could just do accents hour if you want me to, a whole hour on accents. Sorry about that, everybody. Daniel so tough. Philly's out of contract this summer. Oh, okay. Thank you, Daniel. Listen to Daniel. Don't listen to me. He knows what he's talking about. I don't. You should be doing these live streams. Cool. Continue out this summer. Good. That's a big contract we're getting rid of. Big contract we're getting out of there. Abdul, thank you, Frankie, for being here to celebrate together. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for commenting, liking, subscribing. Please subscribe. Helps us so much. Enjoy a match today. Thank you. Yes, I will be signing up very quickly. Paul S, here's Francie. Thanks, mate. Becking K-board. Wow. We're all loving life. We're all loving it, aren't we? Up the mighty Villa. My laugh was to you saying I'd win the pub quiz and with my Amstel guess. You would win the pub quiz. Very few people would get that. I tell you, a lot of people would say Denmark. And I'd have said Denmark. Good for you, Peter. You're winning that pub quiz. You're taking out that many God-tier accents. Oh, I can do a few of them if you want me to. Somebody said, Paul S. saying Sheffield. I actually used to live in Sheffield. I did. I used to go to uni there. So I have a lot of affection for Sheffield United because I used to go to Sheffield United. So there's some clubs I sort of look out for and, think, got a lot of friends to support them. I wouldn't mind seeing them doing a little bit better. Obviously, I don't want them to do as well as Aston Villa. But I go up to Bramall Lane all the time for the Villa away games and we go. So I hope they get promoted because I hope we go up there and win 5-0 again in the first half like we did last season. And then a good night out as well. I couldn't tell you enough. Sheffield would be a fantastic, it's a great away day. It's right in the city, Sheffield United. And then you can go out and have a great old time of it. So yeah. And Sheffield, it's a lovely place. Dublin, actually, Ben said so. Oh, I've got a few friends who are dubs. It's a very specific accent. It almost sounds American. So yeah, yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Don't think I don't think I can pull it off properly. Day job in question, January. Yeah, hopefully. Hang on. That's Leeds, you prick. Right, oh, okay. Well, that won't be the last time somebody calls me that. Gary, can you do Alan Bennett? Oh, I don't know Alan Bennett. I don't think I know how we can. I don't know Alan Bennett. Is he the one who talks a little bit like that? Alan Bennett, is he the playwright? Alan Bennett. Love you, Frankie. I love you too, mate. I can do Barnsley. I've got a mate from Barnsley. He talks like that, and it's really slow, and it's a bit more like, "How you doing, man? You want to go out for a pint, are we? I only like bitter. I don't like lager. It's not for me." Yeah, what has this descended into? It's all about Aston Villa. Then we do a Brummy action, mate. Oh yeah, do you know what I mean? You're looking at me, mate. Tune a brick. You know what I mean? Or was like Brummy can play from up there a bit nasally, a bit more like that. Or like Grealish, like from my part of the town, Solly old mate. It's a bit more rounded, like what? A what? He says you're an encyclopedia of football. A what? A what? That's how I used to talk. A what? People would say to me, because I was so thick as a kid, they'd be like, do you know what an encyclopedia is? I'd be like, a what? Never heard of one, mate. What? Anyway, right. That's enough of my accents. I'll do more next time. Folks, I tell you, tremendous. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you. I'm off to watch Match of the Day. Please like, subscribe. Please comment. What a win for the mighty Villa. Come on, let's all get it down. Let's all cheer it on. Up the mighty. One more. I've given up on that, Villa. Give us a Welsh. I can't do Welsh. It just sounds like an offensive accent when I do it. Trust me. Anyway, up the mighty Villa.